So I saw my favorite concert that I've ever seen, and I wanted to go into that a little bit with you guys. I've posted on my community tab some of the awesome stuff that happened at it, but I didn't really go into any more detail than that. But I met one of you guys. I crowd surfed for the very first time. There was a public fight, a human boat on the ground, two mosh pits around me, and a whole other bunch of shit. So I saw Megadeth, All That Remains, and Mudvayne. And to just kind of get the meat of the video away, like in terms of how they were, fucking phenomenal. Best concert I've ever seen just from a technical aspect. Like, all the personal stuff outside the window, Megadeth was phenomenal. Dave Mustaine has aged like fine wine, and I'm especially happy that I got to see Megadeth considering how much Dave Mustaine had been through. Like, the dude beat cancer, the dude's beat all kind of stuff, and the fact that he is still kicking ass. The lineup was really good. Obviously, it's not OG Megadeth, but it still was a great show. They played for almost 2 hours straight. They had an encore. It was awesome. The moshing was violent. It literally went from start to finish, and it made me happy to see all the different generations sort of coalescing with one another to mosh to Megadeth. All That Remains is probably the band there that meant the most to me. I grew up with them, and for 2 whole years when I first started this YouTube channel, my outro music was actually This Calling by All That Remains. And even though they had the shortest set, I think that they kicked ass. They were very much status quo of what you might imagine, but it is really cool as a statement to say that I saw All That Remains, considering they hadn't done anything for a while, so it was really cool that they are back in the swing of things, releasing new music, that sort of stuff. They played some of their new material, as well as like some older songs like Six and This Calling, and Mosh Pit was really good. It was a great sort of, I was about to say fucking lubrication, that's the weirdest word I could use, but lubrication for the rest of the show. And then Mudvayne was probably the best set of the night. I've always heard Mudvayne had really good sets, but my lord, there were 2 mosh pits that basically opened up on either side of where I was standing, and it was crazy. You were packed in like sardines. There was like nowhere to move. It got so hot and congested and claustrophobic, and people were beating the shit out of each other. It was really cool. But as for like the whole show, it was amazing. It was a great lineup, and I highly suggest seeing All That Remains, Megadeth, Mudvayne either on this tour. I don't know if they still have more tour dates available or whatever, or just seeing them separately. They are all incredible at what they do. They really kicked ass. They tore the whole stage apart, and it was just really high energy from start to finish. And I also saw them at the Marshall Health Arena in Huntington, West Virginia, which hadn't really had a big metal show since 2019, my birthday, back when Beartooth, A Day to Remember, From Ashes to New, and I Prevail came. So it was really cool to see a big show come back there now that they got more funding and stuff. But as for the personal shit, I did crowd surf for the first time, and I will put like the video somewhere on screen here of me moshing to Megadeth. Basically there were like 4 or 5 people that were in the mosh pit, like the front of the mosh pit, and they were crowd surfing people. That was the first time anyone had crowd surfed the entire show. No one crowd surfed to Mudvayne or All That Remains from what I remember, although it is kind of disorienting, but there were a lot of people crowd surfing to Megadeth, and I was one of the people that were lucky enough to get to crowd surf. So I went up there, put my arms up, said, I want to go up, because they were like, who wants to go up? And there were maybe like 11 or 12 people overall that ended up crowd surfing, and I was one of them. So seeing me like crowd surfing with fucking Dave Mustaine in the background at a Megadeth concert, that is about as good of a first crowd surfing experience as I can possibly imagine, and I couldn't imagine it being any more spectacular and special and unique, and especially the angle that was gotten of it, it just looked really cool. But I met one of you guys as well, which was fucking insane to me. Like, I try to read every comment, I try to respond to every comment, and even if I'm not able to give like super in-depth detailed replies to every single comment because I just get so many across my videos, I try my best to engage with you guys as much as I can because I love this community. Like, this is my family. I adore this community. And it definitely like feels so much more surreal and real when you encounter someone in real life that actually knows you. Once again, I'm going to put somewhere on screen, or maybe it was like a bit before this, when I met one of you guys, and CG, shout out to CG, literally picked me up off the ground and hugged me, and was just really cool, wanted me to sign a little autograph on his phone, and took like a selfie with me. It was incredible. Like, that was so weird. It was in between Mudvayne and Megadeth set. I actually moshed with him to Megadeth, not Mudvayne. It was in between Mudvayne and Megadeth, and I was walking to like the bathroom area and the concession area, and I got stopped, and he was like, dude, do I know you from YouTube? And I was like, do you watch the Metal Tempest? And he just freaked out. And what's funny is, going into the concert, I was wearing my Metal Tempest merch shirt, and I had taken it off earlier because I had put an All That Remains shirt on that I got at the merch area. So I was carrying that sort of as like proof it was really funny. But that was just awesome, and it reminded me how real so much of what this YouTube channel can be for people and what it can be for me, and just YouTube in general. Like, the community aspect of bringing people together is really incredible, and I wouldn't trade it for the world. And honestly, a quote that's going to stick with me literally for probably the rest of my life is, if I was going to meet any YouTuber, I'm glad it's you. And that really just warmed my heart. It was very wholesome, made me very happy, and we got to mosh, got pulled into a mosh pit by him, and it was just really cool. It made everything feel so much more real. It reminded me that this is a very real thing, and this platform and community that we've built together, because this isn't just on me, this is on you guys. It is a community. It is people brought together by the love of metal, and the whole show just felt like such an ode and a homage to the metal community, because all three of these bands have been through so much shit. Like, Dave Mustaine obviously has had many things knock him on his ass that he shouldn't have come back from. Maybe his cancer could have been a lot worse and taken him from us way too early, or been inoperable, or maybe he would have had to just quit Megadeth entirely. Mudvayne was gone for quite a while, obviously, when Chad was doing like Hell Yeah and stuff, and then All That Remains hadn't done anything for many, many, many years. So these are all three huge bands, but it's also the principle of being able to see them. So enough of the sappy stuff, some other cool stuff that happened. There was another human rowing boat, and I got on the ground, 30, 40 people, did a human rowing boat. That was awesome. Talked to someone about Blue Ridge Rock Fest and realized that it was as shitty as people said it was back last year, and it's probably never going to come back after it got canceled, which was funny. There was a public fight that got 3 people escorted. The person I was with actually had to, like, recount it to me because I was not there when it happened, but there was, like, security involved. They had to escort people out because they got into, like, a fucking drag-out fight, and it was evidently, like, a girl's boyfriend and a friend or something. Like, there was tensions were high at the Megadeth concert. But that was, like, really fucking weird. But the mosh pits were violent. They were non-stop hectic. And surprisingly, going into that, I would have thought All That Remains or Mudvayne would have had the heaviest mosh pits, just because, like, Mudvayne's known for crazy antics, and All That Remains is literally a moshy metalcore band. But Megadeth had the most constant, unending, like, just vibe of a mosh pit. And the pit crew actually, some of Megadeth's crew actually got in the pit and were, like, hyping people up and fighting with people. They had, like, the Megadeth shirts on, and it was just really fun. Like, it was constant energy, and there weren't that big of lull periods, because sometimes concerts can kind of be pushed off base just because they feel like there's a lot of in-between, like, layover period, which I get. You need that to be able to, you know, keep it flowing, but there was a constant flow of stuff happening, and there wasn't really any time where it wasn't. But please, for the love of God, see any of these bands. It was just awesome. It was high energy. It was fun. It was one of the most memorable nights of my life, and I don't regret any of it. If you've seen any of these bands live, you can let me know down in the comment section below. I can't wait to hear it. Be sure to like this video if you enjoyed it, subscribe to join the review family today, and smash that notification bell to be notified of my future uploads. You know who it is. My name is Jay Morris, and I'm signing off saying farewell.